So even though it's just a short and it's a movie that we haven't yet seen but we want to, that checks in.
Well, we make the rules,
That's
so
right.
it's here. You know, I'm not sure how big of a fan I was of his until this movie. And then I thought, well, I mean, Raising Arizona, obviously, yes.
Yeah.
But this was the push over the cliff for me.
I was just going to say, my husband and I are trying to have kids, and I'm seriously reconsidering.
And we're talking about Fright Club here at Gateway Film Center, the heart of the Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio. Welcome. Great crowd as always. She is Hope Madden.
He's George Wolf.
And we're from madwolf.com. We're here the second Friday of every month.
We are indeed.
Doing the Fright Club Live. And boy, we've got a fun topic and a fun movie tonight as we talk about the best of a guy you might have heard of, Nic Cage. So many movies.
Yeah.
First of all, and so many good horror movies. And
actually, we're very excited, Longlegs. This is like one of our top 5 most anticipated movies of 2024, Longlegs, coming out this year. And then I just saw something that he has signed to make a movie. I think it's called The Carpenter's Son, and it's a Jesus-based horror movie. Okay. Yes, please.
Whoever came up with that idea, like right away, they thought Nic Cage.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right away. So look forward to all of that. And but first of all, I want to say thank you to last time we had the studio version of Fright Club, and we had author L.C. Allingham in the studio to talk about art.
Yeah, we talked about art. She has a new book. It is called Muse. It is an incredibly quick read. It's so much fun. It's so well written. I really, really loved it. I hope that you all pick it up. And we talked about art and artists, which is fun because that's a big part of the book itself. We had a couple of mentions. Seth mentioned The Haunting, which I had not thought of, and also The House with Laughing Windows, which definitely deserved a mention because that is a weird movie.
Those are good.
And Maddie was happy to see Bucket of Blood on the list, and she might have included MFA, Crimes of the Future. Yeah, that's a good thought right there.
Those are good.
And The Visitor from 2022.
Those are all good.
And then it occurred to me after we did the podcast that I could have included or at least mentioned the movie Felt. And if you haven't seen Felt, look it up. Weird as fuck that movie is. In the best of ways.
In the best possible way.
Yeah.
Also, we want to thank Fright Clubber Josh. He posted that he sent us a message, and then I think he posted it on the Fright Club Podcast Facebook group. But he just thanked us, I guess, for when he listened to the podcast. We don't have a lot of ums or or dead spaces.
Yeah.
And that is why you've heard me say, fix it in post.
Yeah.
So I said, Josh, our editor thanks you very much, and that would be me.
That is.
Our editor. So
That is you.
No, thank you. We appreciate that.
We do, because you do a lot of work on that to make sure that it's a smooth listen. You're
Well,
not wasting anybody's time.
Don't want to waste your time.
You cut out a lot of
We
my
want to talk about horror.
dumb ad-libs.
Especially tonight, though, because every time we do a Fright Club Live, of course, we're up against it a little bit.
That's right.
Because we got to get the movie rolling.
But before we move on, what we want to say is, on Sunday night, you should check out It's Too Late with Joel Savage.
Right here,
right
near
here.
the front row, Joel Savage.
You might not see him. He's hard to notice with a very average hairstyle that he has.
Yeah, he's got his talk show. That's going to be at Boxland Media.
Sunday night.
Which is up, it's up north on Huntley.
Yeah.
It's easy to you got a Facebook page for it or a Facebook event for it? All right, so just look up It's Too Late with Joel Savage.
Joel
so, yeah,
Savage.
Fun stuff. And take your mom, right? It's Sunday
that's
night.
Right. It's Mother's Day, which makes this movie the perfect choice.
Perfect choice. And we've got a fun, this one is not too long. This
movie?
Yeah, it's barely an hour and a half.
Barely 90 minutes, yeah.
And so we have a great short film. We meant to show this last time, had a technical difficulty, so we didn't get it on. But we're going to show a great short film ahead of this called Tied Down.
Yeah, by Jasper Jones. Super fun. We saw it for the first time at Nightmares Film Festival this year. It was in the Ohio Shorts block, which was programmed, or it was sort of helped to be programmed by Brandon Thomas, who writes for us for madwolf.com. A great block of shorts, and we were really impressed by this one, and we really appreciate Jasper Jones letting us show it.
It's a lot of fun. Hope you like that. So that'll be first. All right, that it?
That's it.
Okay.
Should we talk about the contenders?
We are going to talk about the contenders. They're not pretenders.
No.
They're contenders.
Yep.
Almost made the list,
Yep.
but we're talking Nic Cage, so you got to kill your darlings
That's
along the
right.
way somewhere.
So there's a bunch. There's a bunch of options. There's the really bad ones, which include Season of the Witch,
Oh.
The Wicker Man,
Oh.
The Bees,
The Bees.
and Ghost Rider. Both Ghost Riders.
Oh.
I nixed those.
And also Drive Angry.
Oh, that's right. Then there are the just really sort of mediocre ones. The two movies that I hoped for more when I saw. One is Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah,
And
I
the
have to
other-
agree with that.
Yeah, and the other is Prisoner of the Ghostland. Because I love that filmmaker too, and there were a lot of things about it that I liked. It just didn't come together very well, so they didn't make the list. The ones that almost made the list. So this first one, it's not really a horror movie necessarily, but I have seen it listed as a horror movie many times. Dream Scenario.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it, but I
Yes.
thought it was more of a comedy and very funny.
Yes.
But I can, if you want to go there that it's horror, okay.
Yeah. But so that's why, because I don't really think of it as horror, so it didn't make the list. Color Out of Space. It's good. It's fun. It wasn't quite good enough to make this list because he really has made a lot of horror films and a lot of good ones. And then also, which you just reviewed earlier a couple weeks ago,
Arcadian just came out, and it's a creature feature, and it's one where, Nic Cage has this reputation of being just unhinged.
Right.
And he's very understated in this. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but it is a cool creature feature. Actually, toward the second half, it sort of resembles a YA creature feature, but he's really good in it, and I think it's pretty effective.
You're right.
Called Arcadian. That is out now.
And so if we did fuzzy math, it might have cracked the top 6 in
Might
fuzzy
have.
math, but it couldn't
But
quite
we're not.
make it. No.
We're
no.
doing regular math.
That's right. Regular math for the live event. So we're going to start with number 5.
Number 5, and this is just from last year, and this is Dracula's Henchman. An inmate at the lunatic asylum for decades longs for a life away from the Count, his various demands, and all of the bloodshed that comes with them. It is Renfield.
Let me explain. My boss gave me this power. In return, I tend to his needs, including care, feeding.
You bring him people to eat? You're like the guy that gets the villain's Postmates.
But if you were to stop focusing on his needs, what would happen?
He won't grow to full power.
Exactly. He won't grow to full power. What? That's so weird. Why would you phrase it like that? But yes. Hi. Are you here for the meeting? Well, come on. No!
Some call me the Dark One, others the Lord of Death. To most, I am Dracula.
Okay, obviously we're dealing with a little bit more than just narcissism here.
Now, let's eat.
We enjoyed this, and I
Yes.
saw once it came out, I think it became very polarizing. There was a segment of people that just hated this movie. I thought the tone, I bought in right away. I thought it was very funny and bloody and fun.
Yeah, I thought it was really fun. Chris McKay directed it, who did like the Lego Batman movie and movies like that. And what I thought that was what surprised me about this movie is how well the action set pieces were choreographed. There's this whole, sort of murder spree in the stairwell of an outdoor apartment complex, and it was really well shot. It was super fun and incredibly bloody.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought that the sort of action comedy tone of the movie was really spot on. There's also like a million little Easter eggs for longtime horror fans. That was a lot of fun. And Awkwafina is hilarious.
Yep.
Nicholas Hoult is hard not to root for. He's just so great as like that sort of sad, nerdy boy wearing pastel. Really loved him. But yeah, Nic Cage is hilarious.
I like the whole premise of turning their relationship into an abusive relationship that he was trying to get out of. And then the fact that Renfield had superpowers. That was kind of fun.
That was fun.
Like all of a sudden when the zombie movies started having the zombies run.
Right.
Like, ooh, that's a twist. That's a wrinkle. So I kind of like that too. But yeah, everybody was really good. And of course, Nic Cage is just chewing all the scenery, as he should for this role.
That's
it
right.
worked perfectly. And it's really bloody.
It's really bloody.
So what else do you want? I mean, I thought it was really enjoyable, but didn't work for some people. But hey, not everything does. We enjoyed it. And also, I had to get this in. This is set in New Orleans, which this may or may not be true. Apparently, Nic Cage already has a pyramid-shaped tomb waiting for him in St. Louis Cemetery. Can you confirm that? Well, because if it's not true, it should be.
That's right.
And so I'm glad to hear that is true. So that is. You have seen the
Alexander
tomb?
has seen it.
All right.
That's
We're going to
awesome.
believe it. I believe Alexander wouldn't. He wouldn't put
lie
us
to
on.
us, no.
All right. So Renfield is our number 5 of Nic Cage horror. Let's move up to 2007. Ooh, this is fun. Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez's homage to exploitation double features in the 60s and 70s with 2 back-to-back cut films that include previews of coming attractions between them. It's Grindhouse, of course, Werewolf Women of the SS.
This is an outrage! Silence!
Featuring Udo Kier, Sherry Moon Zombie, Tom Tolles, Sybil Danning, Bill Moseley, and Nicolas Cage as Fu Manchu.
This is my vision!
Werewolf Women of the SS. Written and directed by Rob Zombie.
Why have we not seen that full movie?
I really want that to be a whole movie.
Really want it. I remember when we saw Grindhouse and all those great fake trailers. This instantly became my favorite Rob Zombie movie.
Oh, yeah,
instantly.
absolutely.
And all of them were like, yes, I want Machete. We got Machete.
Yeah.
Hobo with a Shotgun.
Got it.
And we finally got Thanksgiving.
We did. We haven't gotten Don't.
Haven't gotten Don't.
Which I really, you say that so much better than
But
me.
Werewolf Women of the
Yeah.
SS, it's so great.
Yes.
And it was one when word got around that these 2 guys were doing this double feature and making it, like a Grindhouse and putting these fake trailers in. I guess all Rob Zombie had to say was, how about Werewolf Women of the SS? Yes, go. And they just went, go make it. And it's perfect. And Nic Cage's Fu Manchu is just the chef's kiss on top.
Yeah, well, the fact that they have Sybil Danning in there.
Yes.
That's pretty
Very good. Yeah.
really ideal. And also Udo Kier. Yes, please.
Oh,
And
yeah.
You know what? If anybody would please just put Udo Kier and Nic Cage in a movie together. Please.
Yeah. And apparently Nic Cage did this for free as a favor to Rob Zombie. And that checks out. So I don't know. I haven't ever heard that there were plans to make it.
No, I've not heard that, no.
There should be. I mean, just watching this again, I want to see that.
You know, maybe all of them will see the success of Thanksgiving and think, you know what? Maybe there's room for Don't.
Just make it. So even though it's just a short and it's a movie that we haven't yet seen, but we want to, that checks in.
But we make the rules,
That's
so
right.
it's here.
That checks in at number 4, Werewolf Woman of the SS from Grindhouse. All right, so at number 3, well, this is the movie we're going to see tonight. A teenage girl and her youngest brother must survive a wild 24 hours during which a mass hysteria of unknown origin causes parents to turn violently on their kids. It's mom and dad.
Multiple reports are now coming in of parents murdering their own children.
Listen to me. We have to get out of the house before mom and dad come home. Dad?
Oh, yeah! Put your right foot in. You take your right foot out. You do the hokey and you...
So happy Mother's Day.
That's right. We're not going to say too much about
No.
this. I'm curious how many of you have seen it.
Okay, a few.
Okay, a lot of people haven't. That's
well,
good news.
for the people that haven't, all you have to know is that year, John Waters named this film one of his favorites of the year. So,
oh, nice.
So you have a little idea of what's coming. But we definitely want to talk to you after and get you on the podcast about your reactions to the film. So is there anything else you want to say? We don't want to spoil anything for anybody.
No, yeah, let's not say anything, and then we
Okay.
can just find out what they think after.
Yeah, but we hope you'll enjoy. Based
Yeah.
on that trailer, I think you will. It's a lot
I
of
think
fun.
the hokey pokey will forever be changed for you.
So that's number 3, Mom and Dad, tonight's selection from 2017. Number 2, the only surprise here is how it didn't get to be number 1 because you love this movie so much. This is from 1988. After an encounter with a neckbiter, a publishing executive thinks that he's turning into a vampire. Vampire's kiss.
It started with a kiss.
Really hard.
A very special kiss. A kiss that could drive you mad.
Oh,
That's just love.
Love? Love.
In the big city.
Yeah! Don't laugh.
I'm a professional. I don't laugh.
I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! The tortures of the damned!
I love this movie so much. And
Do
Benny,
the line.
Alva, there you are. My sister and I used to, if you've not seen this movie, it doesn't mean anything to you, but he just keeps shouting this to Maria Conchita Alonso. He keeps just shouting, Alva. and then he jumps up on her desk. And my sister and I used to just do that like with any flat surface anywhere. We would just jump up on it and shout, "There you are!" Yeah, it's my favorite. And then it's funny, he works in a publishing company. He's an editor in a publishing company, Peter Lowe. And then years later, I worked in a publishing company, and I thought about this movie probably 8 times a day for 18 years.
Apparently, Christian Bale has used this as part of his inspiration for Patrick Bateman in American Psycho. And you can see some of that.
For sure. Workplace horror. Yeah.
Yeah, workplace horror. And for those that may have heard of the conspiracy theory, based on that old photo that looks just like Nicolas Cage, people say he's actually a vampire.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, there's a scene in here where he runs through, yelling that he is a vampire. That has been cited by people as proof that he is a vampire, that he's actually telling the audiences, I am a vampire. So, next thing you know, you're into that, and then the earth is flat. And that's how it starts.
It's a very super fun movie, though, and it's one that you don't really love.
I don't love it as much as you do.
No.
I've never yelled to my siblings and jumped up on a table about this one, but it is fun.
It is fun. It was sort of in the middle of his early big giant superstardom, and then out of nowhere he made this bizarre tiny vampire movie where he walks around with those fake drugstore, like those plastic teeth in his mouth. And, I'm not sure how big of a fan I was of his until this movie. And then I thought, well, I mean, Raising Arizona, obviously, yes.
Yeah.
But this was the push over the cliff for me.
Yeah, well, it's certainly one that people point to about, the unhinged Nic Cage, which obviously goes all the way back to 1988. And it's one where apparently in some of these roles, his acting choices are part of challenges that he gives himself to do certain things. Like, case in point, the scene where his character here cries, he challenged himself to say the syllables boo-hoo in a way that still felt believable. And so he's got these ways of challenging himself as an actor. And that's one interesting one.
As a weirdo.
Yeah, and just running screaming, telling people he's a vampire. And that is number 2 from 1988, Vampire's Kiss, on our list of Nic Cage horror. So yes, what could be number 1? I think it's one we just talked about last time. From 2018, the enchanted lives of a couple in a secluded forest are brutally shattered by a nightmarish hippie cult and their demon biker henchmen propelling a man into a spiraling, surreal rampage of vengeance. Mandy.
So what you gonna do with that thing?
I'm going hunting.
So what you hunting?
It's crazy evil.
Oh man, they wrong with you. You exceed the cosmic darkness.
It glowed from within, strange and eternal.
That's so awesome. And we just talked about this last episode when we were talking about art in horror, because this one certainly qualifies. But as a Nic Cage horror movie, right there at the top. This is so cool. And one of the many things I love about this movie is that Nic Cage had an uncredited screaming coach for this film.
Nice.
So we know that heroes don't always wear capes, and that is one of them right there. He's got a screaming coach. And by the way, we always get great T-shirts here at Fright Club Live, but shout out to Monty, who joined me in the 44 shirt.
That's right.
And then Alexander has the tiger face shirt, so thank you for representing. That just adds to the motif here tonight.
Yes, it absolutely does. This movie is so just brilliant. It's just brilliant. It's visually stunning.
It is.
It's just this dense with imagery, gorgeous, insane movie. Every plot twist, you're like, what? And still all in, 100% in.
Mm-hmm.
Mutant cannibal bikers.
Yeah.
Yes,
Why not?
absolutely, sure.
Yeah.
Panos Cosmatos made this movie. He had made Beyond the Black Rainbow, which was, they're both set in 1983. And it's fascinating how well he captured like the two completely different sort of artistic styles of 1983. Because the first one is it's like a Smith song. It's very, it's very clean and tidy and white. And then this one is like a Ronnie James Dio album cover gone crazy with mutant cannibal bikers. But the thing that I love about this movie is it's Nic Cage at his most unhinged, and he's perfectly suited. Like everything else around him is at least that insane.
Yep.
And the whole cast is amazing. And
Yeah.
it's just a great cast. It's an amazing story. And it's visually stunning. It is one of my favorite movies from that year.
Yeah, and in interviews about this movie, Nic Cage has said that he actually, just days before they started shooting, he was married at the time for 14 years, and his marriage came to an end, and he put that into the inspiration for the character. Yeah, and also you mentioned the director Panos Cosmatos. Apparently, his favorite Nic Cage movie, maybe before this, was Vampire's Kiss.
Oh,
so
nice.
You share something there.
That's
but
right.
Yeah,
but also, let's mention for a second that we just found out that Cosmatos' next movie is a vampire movie starring Kristen Stewart and Ex Machina.
Oscar Isaac.
I can't believe I forgot his name.
I am
Yes,
in.
I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, it just shows you, since we talked about it last episode and this one in two totally different topics, how many different ways you can take this movie. And you can watch it 2 different times and see 2 totally different things, especially when it hinges on the bit at the end with the art that we talked about last time and how you see it. But yeah, it's just it's one of those that, even though it's a cliche, you call it a fever dream, and that's what it seems like.
Yeah.
Just from start to finish, because all that crazy shit's happening.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's completely insane, and in the most glorious of ways.
We've got to show it one time.
We do. We
somehow.
also have to show Vampire's Kiss.
All Nic Cage all the time. That's what's going to happen. Okay, that is number 1, Mandy from 2018 in Nic Cage horror. So we've got a bunch of favorites, and we've got one to show here in just a little bit. And
Couple
again,
things to
and
let you
again,
know,
please
though.
come down after and let's talk about it.
So one of the things you should know is that Femme Fatalities continues to go on here at Gateway Film Center every Wednesday. You can come at 8 o'clock. You can catch a great horror film made by a woman director, and they're always preceded by a great short horror film made by a woman director. Sometimes the same director, sometimes a different one. The one that we're going to show this coming Wednesday is Let's All Go to the World's Fair.
Mm-hmm.
We're all going to the World's Fair. Sorry about that. And which is, if you haven't seen it, and a really weird and amazing film, and we're very excited about that.
Actually premiered right here at Gateway a couple of years ago
during Nightmares
with
Film
Nightmares Film Festival. So, and then if you've heard about the movie that's coming out next week called I Saw the TV Glow, it's the same director.
Yes. And then the following Wednesday, please come out, because we're going to show Obstacle Corpse, which we made.
That's our movie, Obstacle Corpse.
And then we're going to world premiere our brand new short film, Basement Buddy.
Mm-hmm.
So come out for that,
That's
please.
on the 22nd.
22nd,
Yeah,
Wednesday, May 22nd.
I mean, Obstacle Corpse is streaming now, hint, hint, if you want to see it. But if you want to see it on the big screen and get, to see me die that grisly death on the big screen, come on out and see it on the 22nd. Yeah, that too. So that's fun. And then again, tonight here, before we see Mom and Dad, we're going to show Tied Down. Is Jasper here tonight, the filmmaker? He is not. But he sent his appreciation, his gratitude for showing it here tonight. That'll be the short film. And then, looking ahead to Friday, June 14th, will be the next Fright Club Live, and we're going to talk about sleep paralysis and show a crazy movie called Borgman.
Yeah, it is. It is really another. It's a visually wonderful, incredibly weird movie.
And creepy.
Sleep paralysis. That's a great topic. There are a lot of great options there. Also, it's our anniversary.
Yes, we always schedule thank you. We always schedule these events on our anniversary.
We do.
How else would we rather spend our anniversary?
That's right.
And talking about horror movies.
That's right.
But if you haven't even seen or heard of Borgman, it's what happens to this. Hey, Brunel. It's what happens to this family when they make the mistake of answering the door and letting this man into their lives, and their lives are never the same afterward. And it is really, really creepy and worth seeing. And then we'll talk about sleep paralysis. So all that's coming up in the next weeks, and we hope you can check out all of that, and we'll see you again. But for tonight, we've got Tied Down, the short film, and then we've got Mom and Dad, and then we're going to talk about it. So enjoy. Stan, hit it. Thank you.
About 90 minutes later.
Fun stuff.
A little dark. It's a little dark.
A little dark. It's fun, but I think there's also a sly bit of social commentary going on in there. Yeah, I mean it's fun, but then there are those little moments where it makes you think a little bit, and then you're laughing when you see all the cheesy signs in the house, like we do love, we do forgiveness, right? When they're doing all this carnage, and then of course at his office or whatever, he's got all those inspirational quotes and stuff, all the cheesy stuff, and then to just blow it all up and give it that, especially early on, it has that real, Day of the Dead type of look with the neighborhood and everything, and when the virus or whatever it is starts gaining ground. Yeah,
my favorite, absolute, what I love the best about it is once Kendra and Brant start to work. Kendall, they work together. They strategize together. They become a real functioning family at that point. A good couple that knows teamwork.
Goals.
Yeah, I think it's really funny. I love when they just sort of look at each other and of course, Sawzall. That's my favorite.
Sawzall. That's what they use nowadays to cut catalytic converters, isn't it? They use those Sawzalls when they come by your neighborhood. And then at the toward the end there, bringing in the grandparents was just genius.
Oh, yeah, it was.
I love
And then
that.
the fact that it's Lance Henriksen,
I know.
chef's kiss.
Yeah, it's so great. Nick isn't unhinged all the time, but man, he has his moments.
He does have
when
his
it's
moments.
just really, really funny. Like you said early on, like one of the first scenes when the woman just leaves her
the
child
train.
to be.
Yeah.
Anytime that happens in a movie, when you kill a kid, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to go there. We're going to go there pretty often.
Yeah, they don't shy away from it.
No.
And you know what? And it makes you really nervous when that baby's born. Oh, my God. And then that scene of the nursery and this line of dads lined up. That is creepy.
Yeah.
That's creepy stuff.
It is so creepy.
I remember first seeing the trailer when it was first released and just being sold on the hokey pokey scene alone. But what really stood out to me is just the fact that you don't see many movies lately where children are in peril.
Like the movie's going to save them, like all of them, not just two.
So they all have to fend for themselves. Yeah, and of course Nicolas Cage and Selma Blair work really well together.
They do. Yeah, they're a great team.
Yeah, they do. They do.
I like to, because of you guys, I've learned to listen to the sound and the big word juxtaposition of the very nice, sentimental, loving music with the most horrific acts. Just make you uncomfortable as hell watching this.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. It just helps to subvert the different themes that are in it. But yeah, and in the beginning when they played the song Yesterday When I Was Young.
Yeah.
So it's the parents looking back of, missing their youth, and then that's part of it,
big
taking
midlife crisis
taking a
vibes,
big
yeah.
midlife crisis.
But I loved the way lines were echoed later on when the kids were, I'd love to trust you, but you make it really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really funny too.
Yeah. And also I think there's a little bit of that. Every issue today, the go-to is, well, we're doing it for the children.
Right.
We're doing it for the children.
But
And
back
they
in
have
the
fun with
day,
that
they
too.
did say, I brought you into this world and I can
I'll
take you out.
Exactly. And that's what they're doing. Any other comments?
I was just going to say I thought it was interesting. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, and I think it was filmed there because a local coffee shop that is only in Kentucky was where they were Honey Brothers.
Oh, wow.
And then the football field was like a local private school that I've been to before.
Wow.
So, kind of funny.
That must have
Nice,
been a cool thing to see out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I know that football field like I've been there or that coffee shop. So
Oh, wait, so you didn't know that before you came here?
no, I saw in the movie. I was like, oh, that coffee shop is like local to Kentucky only.
That's awesome.
And then St. X in Louisville. So I was like, that's pretty crazy.
That
Do
is
you want
crazy.
Do you want to call home and make sure everybody's all right?
No, I'm not calling my parents.
No, that's good thinking. I like where your head's
That's
at.
great, though. You're watching that and you're like, hey, wait.
That's right.
I love that. Any other comments?
I was just going to say my husband and I are trying to have kids, and I'm seriously reconsidering that.
Well, we do what we can. So you're welcome. Yeah, that was that's a lot of fun, and it's one that. What year did we say it was? It wasn't very old.
I think it's 2017.
Yeah, and I remember people, talking about it a lot when it came out and how fun it was. But you have to be in the right frame of mind because, like Alexander said, when kids are in peril, you have to get past that. Okay, we're doing it, but we're doing it to make a point here. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
What is the point? That it's fun to murder children?
No,
that
it's
can't
metaphorical.
be the point.
Like you said, midlife crisis.
That's right.
And what would a good horror movie be without protagonists making the dumbest fucking decisions in the world? Okay, let's we know that maybe parents are killing children. Let's just release all the children from
Right.
the high school where they might actually be protected. And then the main protagonist girl, she's like, oh, let's go back home where their parents are going to show up. They know their parents are going to show up.
Yeah. Well, kids are stupid.
Yeah. Especially teenagers.
Yeah. But the boyfriend, though, he's a hardy kid.
Yeah.
He can take a hit, that
he
kid.
can take
Resilient, I heard somebody say.
What was that?
Resilient.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
can take a coat hanger to the cheek.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Nasty. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. You did enjoy it, right? Yeah.
Yay. Good.
And you know what? And that short was pretty fun too, wasn't it?
That
That
is
tied
fun.
down. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We knew when we saw that here at Nightmares that we wanted to get that on there. So looking forward to next time. We had it on the screen there. We're going to talk about sleep paralysis, right? Next Fright Club Live, and then show Borgman, which is it's not as funny as this.
No. No.
But it's really weird and creepy, and it's got some really gorgeous cinematography, some really cool shots.
Yep.
So if you're in the mood for something different and really creepy, come out and talk about and see Borgman. Talk about some sleep paralysis, and we'll have a short film before that too, right?
Yes. Yes. It's called Loose Ends. Our editor, Schrader Thomas made it. He was the director.
Awesome.
And one of our leads and producers, Jason Tostovan, and also another actor from our film, Randall Greenland. They wrote it. They co-wrote it.
All right, awesome. So that's next
and that
time.
reminds me of what? That reminds me of Obstacle Corps.
Yeah.
Come back out May 22nd, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Do it.
Right, for Femme Fatalities. So this we'll get all this edited and take out, of course. Thank you, Josh, the ums and the uh-ohs. And we will fix it in post and have it up here very soon on the all your normal apps. And, of course, you can always find it on our socials. Madwolf.com is the main website. Also, we've got Fright Club live on
Instagram
now. And it's also the Fright Club podcast group on Facebook. Fright Club pod on X, Twitter, all sorts of ways you can find us.
That's right.
This will be up here in a few days. So we thank you guys so much for coming out. We hope to see you again. And until next time, she is Hope Madden.
He's George Wolf.
And this is the Fright Club podcast.
Stay frightful, my friends. Yay! Thank you guys. And happy Mother's Day.